and Twitter, and then we will get started. Welcome, 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 everyone. I am really excited about the show today. Um, I'm very excited about the show today. So I'm glad that you're here. For everyone who's in the room, I appreciate you coming in. I see Sweet Jamaica. I see DJ Chanel B's in the room. Fresh in the Flesh is here. And we have a first time chat, first time viewer from Lainey Star. Welcome in. Welcome in. And just make yourself at home, engage with each other, have a good time. I'm going to start this show today by just letting you know that this is Black History Month. Not Black History Month. This is Black Business Month, not Black History Month. It's Black Business Month, you guys. This week we're highlighting buy from a Black woman. They spread awareness and provide support to and for Black women businesses. Black women have been leading the numbers when it comes to starting a business, but annual businesses, due to lack of support and awareness. Um, our sales are 5 times smaller than all women-owned businesses due to lack of support and awareness. That's where Buy from a Black Woman comes in. Since 2016, Buy from a Black Woman has empowered, educated, and inspired Black women, business owners, and the people who support them. A registered nonprofit organization, Buy from a Black Woman ensures that Black women have the tools and resources that would allow them to be successful. Through educational programs, an online directory, and funding, Buy from a Black Woman continues to grow as a trusted source that helps Black women in business. So, we started this show with a video of their Inspire tour that kicked off at the Essence Fest this year. I know some people don't come in as soon as the announcement comes on that we're going live, but if you get a chance to go back and watch the video, that's great. I also have links popping up in the chat during the show today. So there's a link to that video that you can watch. There are other links to Buy from a Black Woman that you can click on and learn more about them, because this is Black Business Month. So let's support. All right. All right. So I see BBQ Daddy over here in the room. I'm going to bring him in while we talk about everything else. Hi, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm well. So I'm Black. I'm not a woman, but y'all can still support me too. I got a mark off one of the check marks.
Well, awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm good. Thank you.
That's good. All right. So I brought you on, but I have, some other neat stuff that I want to tell the audience about you. So sit back, relax. Let me just read a little bit about you. And first, let me just say, I have some really, really fantastic moderators. So the benefit, Terry, about being on Twitch is that we get the live interaction with our audience. And so in order to make that a seamless transition, we have what we call moderators in our chat. And they literally go through and make sure everyone's behaving themselves, encourage people to really talk more in the chat, and I'm going to ask that because we're going to engage the audience more today than I have done ever. So they're going to actually be a little bit busier today. But I just want to show you. And then, I feel like I had my whole lagging issue fixed, but for some reason today it's just I feel like I'm lagging a lot. But anyway, let's say hi to our mods. First, let's start with Rush in the Flesh. Say hi to Rush in the Flesh. This is actually my daughter. If you've been around a while, you know that Rush in the Flesh is my daughter, but she's one of our fantastic mods. And then we have Sweet Jamaica. She is my super mod, y'all. She's really the one that's running this show. But, my other mods are awesome as well. All right. And then we have Jazzy Mimi. I almost called you by your first name, Jazzy Mimi, but Jazzy Mimi is another awesome mod that I have in here. So make sure you say hi to the mods, give them all the love and respect that they deserve. I know that I appreciate them, and I hope that you guys appreciate them as well. They are in the chat, ready to engage with you and make sure that we keep everything going. So let me step back again and just apologize. All right. I know that for the last few weeks, I haven't really been involving the audience very much in these conversations, and that's going to change today. So if you have a question for Terry, please make sure you highlight your questions so that I can get to them a little bit easier. All right. So highlight your chat. Mods, if you see someone that asks a question and it's not a highlighted question, just kind of copy, paste, and highlight it for me so I can make sure that I go back and we're gonna talk about all the questions that they give us, BBQ Daddy, because I'm sure we're gonna have some good ones. All right, so I'm Twanna's Twitch. This is the Inequality Podcast, where we aim to be that space between inequality. The mission is to provide the space to learn, grow, shift our perspectives, share ideas, learn from one another, and challenge social norms in a positive way. We will work to move from having the conversation to effective action, disrupting the complacency we have towards inequality in the richest country in the world. Every subject is approached with an open mind and the chance to see things in a different light, and hopefully do the same for the audience. Being in this space means that we advocate for people who really have equal opportunities to improve their lives, to remove our blinders and help others to remove theirs and see other people as they are, where they are. We need to recognize that everyone wants and deserves the same things in life. And that includes living in neighborhoods that are safe, free of crime, thriving, not just surviving. So today, my special guest is Terry Matthews, and we're talking about something a little different. Odds are that no matter what job we do, whatever career we've had, or on our entrepreneurship journey, if you're Black or brown, you've experienced racism. This is an important conversation to have because many of us, we have these experiences and we just keep it moving, right? We don't even recognize the trauma that these experiences have on ourself, like on our spirit. And many of us just remain quiet because we're afraid of losing our jobs. So we can all relate. We should all be able to relate no matter who we are, including the BBQ Daddy. Everyone experienced these things. So Chef Terry Matthews, better known to some as the BBQ Daddy, is an authentic and accomplished chef. Chef Terry has been over the grill and in the kitchen since 1997, a featured guest on multiple television networks and media outlets, along with several appearances on the Food Network, working alongside Chef Bobby Flay and the winner of the Food Network's #1 chef competition show, Cutthroat Kitchen and Camp Cutthroat. I've never heard of that one, Camp Cutthroat. I have to say I have not heard of that one, but he has more than 24 years of experience. Chef Terry Matthews is still in love with the culinary arts and ready to show off his skill in your kitchen or at your event, but only if you're in Phoenix and San Diego, right?
Right. Now, and, for the right price, we'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. I love that. So welcome in. Let's just start with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man. All right. So you told everything. All right. So I guess in a nutshell, so I was my family and everyone, we migrated from Flint, Michigan when I was a kid, and I was raised in Bakersfield, California. There I got married, had a few kids, and then moved out to Phoenix, Arizona in 2006. Within that time, I was able to, I bounced around from job to job and trying to figure out life, but I was too mouthy or too something to keep a position. I was always good at it. But I got fired from every job that I had for some reason or another. It was always for me talking too much. That was the reason for the most part. And then I actually I had a job where I actually, like, for a while, I started cooking. I've always cooked. So I guess we'll get to that. I've been cooking since I was 17 years old, my mom bought me a grill. And so I would just be in the backyard whipping things up, trying things, watching Bobby Flay from back in the day. And so just doing that in my own backyard. When I had this job in 2011, and I was like, yo, let me cook for our company barbecue. You know, let's have one, because we were having guests come in and all this stuff. So I did. Our guests came in, which was our customers. They liked it. It was like, hey, what catering company are you with? How can we hire you? I'm like, no, I work here, dude. I'm the service rep. But then one of the guys liked it so much that he hired me to do their every Friday gig. And so from there, I would do their lunch and for about 30 people, which I thought was crazy. And one of the guys in line was like, hey, man, this is good. What's the name of your company? And so I was like, hold on one second. And I left, and actually I called my wife and said, I don't know the name of this company. I don't even have a company. It's nothing. I just cooked for this guy. And she's like, why don't you call it BBQ Daddy, like baby girl calls you? Now, my baby girl is my daughter. We call her baby girl because my name is Terry and her name is Terry. And so she's just always a baby girl. So I came back to the gentleman and I was like, name of our company, man, is this BBQ Daddy. And I said it just like that because I thought it was stupid. And because I don't know, it just feels weird to be calling me BBQ Daddy. Anyway, so he's like, oh, right, BBQ Daddy. I think I heard of that. I'm like, no, bro. You the first one.
He thought he heard of it, and your wife just came up with that one.
Right. Well, my daughter used to call me BBQ Daddy all the time. I mean, like I cook in the backyard, and I would cook all the time. She just literally called me BBQ Daddy, and so just instead of Daddy, she called me BBQ Daddy, and so that was I just answered to it. It was just like, oh, okay, that's funny. And so then Tiffany decided, it was like, hey, why don't you try this? Anyways, and so I went from there. I've always had sales experience. I've had experience setting up trade shows. I had experience doing all the things that you kind of need to learn how to do to start your own particular business, go to conferences, continue to learn the sales process, the closing process. And I took all of those things and just used it in my own business. I started working at Everest College, and one day they had a rule to where they said, the people on your team, on my team, you need to not raise your hand, but check with your supervisor before you go to the bathroom. And I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. So
I don't blame you.
My first day at work, I'm like, I'm only going to be here 6 months, by the way. I mean, literally, and like, when you go into your training, they say, what are you here for? And what are your goals? I'm like, my goals here, man, I'm here to stack a few checks and I'm going to be out of here in 6 months. Everybody laughed. Check this out. This was June 11th, 2010. June 11th, 2010. And then January 11th, 2011, or somewhere right around there. No, 2012. Anyways, January 11th was when the bathroom rule came out. And so I was like, yo, let me take off my badge. Here you go. Because I'm not going to be able to do this. And I don't want to you guys are cool. And I like the I'm not doing this. My last day. I told y'all I was leaving anyway. So let's go. I didn't even realize though, until months later, that it was literally exactly 6 months to the day.
That's what happens when you claim it and you believe it. Right. That's all you need to do. Claim it, believe it. It's happening.
Right. And so from there, I started, I just stepped out on faith and worked it out. My first wedding, and I just kept going. I kept grinding. It wasn't always easy. It was still not easy. But then 2016, I got called to do Cutthroat Kitchen. So Camp Cutthroat is the all-stars of Cutthroat Kitchen. So what they do is they had 2 of those. So they take the first 6 seasons, and they take all the top chefs and best personalities, top 16. They take them to camp, and then you got to work your way, fight your way into the final 4 to the final episode.
So you were the best overall, and then you were the best of the champions too.
Well, I got 3rd in the champions. Okay. So Yeah, I got the guys who won though. They were, I mean, there was two guys in front of me. One of them was like Oprah's private chef, and he had cooked for Tyler Perry. He was amazing chef. And another guy overseas dude who did just a whole bunch of different type of stuff that I don't know how to do, to be honest with you. Yeah, but after 2016, I just kind of went crazy, and then I started going on different media outlets. I'm the barbecue guy for Arizona Midday when they had barbecue tips. BBQ Daddy is the one to be on there to give it to them. And then my business started going crazy. This past 2 years ago, I got called to do barbecue brawl. Obviously, COVID put a stop to that, and so went on there. Met work with Bobby Flay, met work with Michael Simon, met work with a lot of different guys in the industry. And just being on that show and doing other shows in the past was a great learning experience for me, because in his entrepreneurial life, as you know, it's lonely,
Yes, it is.
It just meaning like the people even who may work for you or work with you, they don't have the same mindset. They're not you. You can't, a lot of times you can't even talk your entrepreneur talk to people who are not, because it sounds egotistical. It sounds bad. Like for me, I'm like, I mean, I don't even want to say it. Like, I be having dreams about having a job. I mean, not dreams, nightmares.
Right?
Yeah, just because I don't fit in. So I don't know. That's me in a nutshell.
That's so interesting. Now, that's funny because I never feel like I fit in at my jobs either. But I feel like I understand now that's because I'm meant to be somewhere else. So of
Yeah,
course I'm not going to fit in there because I'm not really
right.
meant to be there. So that's very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I don't. Obviously, I've had to work, and I even had to step back and grab a job here and there. Which I get it. You got to do what you got to do. And I respect everyone that's there all the time. It's never like, oh, you're working a job. Well, shoot, that's what got me to where I'm at. You just wag your finger on it. But sometimes when you just kind of know, and you got different things outside of becoming the manager or the next step, you gotta work on that. You gotta lean on that. But hey, I have people who work for me and who have aspirations to continue. So you need those people to support your dream to be able to move ahead. So on all aspects, I'm just saying, for me, it was itchy.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that, not every employer gives, is that support for you to get to where you want to be. They really just want to kind of keep you in the space that you are because that's where they benefit the most.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
yeah. So, my next question that I had, and I think you kind of touched on a little bit, but how did you tell us again how you ended up here in Arizona? Because I think that's an interesting
So
story.
so I worked for 24-hour fitness back in the day, and I just knew I had to get out of Bakersfield. Bakersfield is the Flint, Michigan of California, and if you know anything about Flint, most people do. It's not the greatest city. It's great because I got a family there. I love y'all if you see it watching, but it's not. And even in Bakersfield, love y'all too. But it's a small-minded town. It's a small town with not a lot of potential if you're not in particular industries. And so I always knew I wanted to get out and do something different. And so I worked at 24-hour fitness. I was the top sales guy there, and I had an opportunity. I went to Hawaii, and coming from Hawaii, I'm throwing myself out as a resume. Like, somebody hired me to be your sales manager somewhere else. Now, this was back in the time where 24-hour fitness was killing the game. I mean, it was the top of the top. And so within that trip, I got job offers from district managers from 7 different cities, from Florida to Texas. I mean, I know those are not cities, but I'm just saying, Florida, state in Florida, Texas, a couple different cities in California, Arizona, and Denver. And so all those different cities, I'm looking, well, Florida's pretty far. Texas was, I thought, which I didn't realize, I'm like, no, Texas is way too hot, not knowing that Phoenix was hotter than Texas.
Yes, my daughter is trying to get me to move to Texas. I'm like, why would I leave Arizona and go to Texas? That makes no sense.
Yeah. And so Southern California is where we was trying to go, but it was just too expensive. So Denver, I feel like it was too cold. So Arizona it is. I mean, literally had a conversation with my wife, and bless her heart, she was down. She's always been down. So she was like, well, that's where we're going, and let's get packed. And we literally left like a month and a half later.
It's always nice when you have, that ultimate partner. Like,
Yeah,
I know we always say that, you always have a good woman standing behind you, but I think it's better when they're standing beside you, like holding
yeah,
your hand and still, able to prop you up. So that's pretty awesome. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Nice to know. How long have you been married?
This year will be October, will be 19 years. Yeah,
Good
yeah,
job. Good
19
job.
years.
And so
Yeah,
another thing that I wanted to point out, because I know this is probably very stereotypical of me, but even when I look at Food Network and I'm watching Chopped or whatever, and I see the chefs on there, not everyone is really into fitness. If that's a good way to say it. So I appreciate that you are this awesome chef, but I can still tell that you value your fitness. I appreciate that.
you know what? I'm trying to be here as long as possible. And I don't want my arteries clogged. I want to be able to move and do things. And so, yeah, I hit the gym. I won't say as much as I can, but probably I could be there a little bit more. But I do my best to try to eat um, not unhealthy, or not crazy. And so one thing I actually had was called a hiatal hernia, right? And so, which in this hiatal hernia, I can't eat a lot of greasy foods because it makes me like, belch and burns. And so there's a lot of foods that I stay away from on purpose, just because of that reason. I mean, I've always just kind of always drank water. I never got into sodas, and just a lot of sugary stuff I just never been into. And so those just kind of eating responsibly, I guess, on top of moving. And in this catering business, you got to lift and push. It's not just about cooking. I got it's still a lot of even labor work that you got to do to stay on your feet and move and move and move. So that, along with I was a half athlete back in the day, so I can't, I know a lot of
What is
half
a half
athletes, they still kind of get, a little thick. That's just not where I'd like to be.
That's awesome. Like, so I'm working on my body again now, my fitness and my wellness specifically, not so much
Yeah,
just to, look good, but just to, like you said, be able to lift up my grandkids and be around when I have great grandkids would be nice.
yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that. I'm going to take a little break here before we dive into the conversation and just let everyone know, welcome again to Inequality, the podcast. My name is Twana. Our special guest today is Terry Matthews, also known as BBQ Daddy. I want you to make sure that if you have questions, that you highlight your question because we are going to get to them today. As a matter of fact, let's see. I'm just going to scroll real quick and see if we have any questions. Just let everyone know that I see you in the room, Miss Purplish. Welcome in, young lady. I appreciate you coming in. Let's see if I find any questions. And Lainey Star, I've already said hello. You're very active in the chat. Thank you very much. And if you want to follow BBQ Daddy on any of his social media platforms, you'll find those in the chat as well. Hey, Sight Givers in the room. Welcome in, girl. I appreciate you coming in. All right. I do not see any questions right now. So I think we can go ahead. Just scrolling down. No questions. No questions yet. So let's go ahead and dive right into the conversation. So you've really kind of let us know your path to just becoming, the Chef Terry Matthews. But tell us a little bit about your path to getting to like that nationally known person who has actually worked with Bobby Flay and so many other giants in your industry. How did that happen?
So for me, I feel like if I can see it and somebody else has done it, or regardless if they've done it or not, if it's possible, um, then I can do it, right? So I looked on and I applied for the Food Network for about a year and a half, almost probably 2 years before they got picked up. I mean, I got to the point to where I was like, man, they forget them dudes. They ain't call me back. But I was trying to get on Chopped. I was trying to get on a few different things because I know, I'm a halfway good looking dude and I got a decent personality and I have a skill that can translate into what you guys do. Well, which we'll get into that in a minute. What you guys do on TV, on these cooking shows. And so I just tried and then eventually somebody called me I got a call to do a show for Cutthroat Kitchen. And initially I wanted to turn it down just because, if you know anything, Cutthroat Kitchen, they put obstacles in your way to cook. And if you're a chef, you don't want any obstacles, because you want to put a good product out there. And if I'm not just there basically presenting my best, then it's stressful enough already just to do that. But now I got to do that with one arm tied behind my back or on a rotating platform or on a trampoline or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? This might be my foot in the door. So I went on and, kind of just killed it in the interview when they called. It was something along these lines, and learned how to interview. I used to ramble, and so even now I talk a lot, but I try my best to we'll just stay here, quit talking about all the different branches. So it was a process, to be honest with you. You gotta learn it, and I had to learn it. I had to learn how to get there. And so once I got my foot in the door, I'm like, okay, when I get here, I'm gonna represent. I'm not gonna be a typical Negro, and I can be funny, sure, but I'm gonna still just be me, and I'm gonna be professional. I don't know what that word is. So not even professional. I'm gonna just be me, but I'm not gonna be a stereotypical anything.
Less step and fetch it and more Chef Barbecue Daddy.
Right. And so with doing that, it was appreciated to where I got calls back to do all different types of stuff. I turned down a lot though in the beginning I turned down some opportunities because they wanted me to come do these those shows here and there, which is fine. But my business had started going, and when I actually did Camp Cutthroat, which was only 8 months after I did the first one, I was gone for a week, and during that time, I had 3 weddings going on in 3 different cities, and only one of them went over well. The other 2 didn't do so well, and I wasn't there. And so this is somebody's wedding, I don't want to. I can't. I didn't want to have my product and my brand, and even outside of that, I don't even think like that. I didn't want these people's wedding and any other time to be ruined because I'm out trying to, do something on TV. Because they hired Barbecue Daddy because they believe that I got a good product, we have good service, we have good food, all this other good stuff, and so I gotta deliver it every single time. And so when it didn't happen when I was gone, I'm like, okay, I can't be gone. Obviously, my staff at the time wasn't ready for me to be out there, and so but when I finally came back, I got some more calls to do a few things and other good opportunities. Once they saw, so I got there, worked it out, and eventually, it got me there. So it wasn't just I didn't just get discovered. It was a road, of trying of making it happen. I met a person one day. I was trying to get on this show called Food Network Star, and I got all the way to the final casting. And then with these reality shows, they only gonna cast 1 or 2 black dudes, right? And so and then they call it diverse, but then like, well, let's sprinkle a black dude in there, a black girl with natural hair, and a Mexican, and then we'll call it diverse.
Right.
So, but the brother that they picked ahead of me was Eddie Jackson.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, and I'm like, I would have picked Eddie Jackson too, because number one, He was an ex-football star, played for the Patriots. He's a chef. He's tall. He's good looking. He's buff. And I'm like, yeah, all right. If you're gonna pick a brother over me, that's the one to pick. And he ended up winning that season.
He was all right with that choice.
I was good with that. And he ended up winning the season. So I'm like, go ahead, bro. Represent. So at that casting, I heard some folks say, you know what, if you want to get on, you just got to keep trying. You got to keep trying. You got to keep auditioning. You got to keep your name out there. Just keep positive, And I know a lot of people say that stay positive, things will happen. But if you're not positive, it'll show in everything you do. And nobody wants to work with somebody who's not positive. You go into an interview and you're already coming in with a chip on your shoulder. They don't want to hear that unless you're playing football.
Yeah, that's that's a lesson that I'm trying to just even teach my little cousin that's here visiting with me. Like, you have to be mindful about what you're putting out there, because that's what you're going to get back. So if you're putting out negativity, that's what you're going to get back. You can't really, if you're putting out there, oh, this isn't going to work, this is never going to work, it's never going to work. Like, that's how the universe works.
Yeah, it won't. Because you'll go into it already looking for ways out. And for the people who believe in energy, people who believe, okay, well, the Holy Spirit, whatever you got, let's keep it straight. You go into an interview already thinking that it's not going to win, or you go into an opportunity where you have to, you can give your very best, but if it doesn't work, sometimes who wins by doing it the first time? These cats are successful, man. They fail many, many times. I got a poster. You can't see it right here. It's Michael Jordan. It says, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, and I lost 300 games 26 times. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I failed over and over again. That's the way I succeeded. So if you don't that's Michael Jordan. So who, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. No matter what you think about Michael Jordan, like, he is the ultimate role model for success, right? Like, we have a few ultimate role models for success, and he's definitely one of them.
Right.
So now, before we get into, I don't know, like, what kind of specifics we can get into with your experience with Food Network, but the whole point kind of this conversation is to just remind everyone that we always seem to find ourselves in racist situations at work, and we have to be silent in those situations because we don't want to lose our jobs. And so every time something like that happens to us, no matter how faithful you are, it's going to have an effect on you. And so I just want to have the conversation about that so that people can really understand, listen, we are not alone. It's just a matter of us kind of figuring out how we can help one another through these things, right? So with that in mind, tell me how much support you got in this journey of yours from your family, friends, community. Like, what kind of support did you get to where you are right now?
Oh, man. So like I mentioned, my wife was the biggest supporter. My mom was a great supporter. She's around. And I got a couple cousins that, always, they cheer you on. And I never had anyone. So here's the thing. You get, when you put a post on Facebook and say, hey, I got a raise, you get 300 likes. You post something, I started a business, 3 likes. And so, or I got this product, I got this thing, or I'm trying to do this. I'd like to be able to continue. And so it's you don't get. I tell folks now, when you want to, if you're starting a business, if you're starting to branch yourself out there, don't depend. And don't sell, not sell, but don't depend on your friends and family. Because they may cheer you on from behind, but they also, here's the thing, they also know all your faults. They also know that this is the 5th time you tried something. They also know that, when you was in high school, you used to beat dudes up, or you was a sucker, or you did this, or you used to gangbang, or you used to or you was a nerd, or you was a whatever you did. And so they bring all of these different, not even preconceived, but all these different thoughts that they know about you, and say, oh, well, knowing him or her in this position, it ain't gonna work. Well, good job. Well, we clap for you. So as far as the support, even for myself and for, I got a few way to go, a few attaboys, but then you also get folks to say, hey man, you still got the little catering company, you still got your little catering business. I'm like,
the little one.
hey girl, you talking about the one that supports 3-4 different families who work for me? You talking about the one that, the $500,000 one? You know what I'm talking about? I don't never get into the financials. I don't never get into what's going, but without hurting feelings too much, I'm trying to choose my words real nice and good here. But
appreciate that.
the support coming up, I guess, from friends and family is minimal. And I end up getting more support and more business from folks who don't know me, and they see or other, whoever they are, they get more support. And unfortunately, Black folks, y'all to be the worst ones to support other Black folks. And I'm just be real. A lot of times, especially getting into that, especially trying to start yourself off, man. And I don't know if it's just a West Coast thing, and maybe different on the East Coast, because there's a lot more. But trying to get into, I love my Black folks, and I even and a lot of times I know sometimes those Black businesses can be, we don't always take the right steps to do the right things. And so
there's a challenge sometimes because we hold on to so many stereotypes, right? Like you deal with a Black business, they're not going to be up to par. They're going to disappoint you somehow. They're going to be late. Like there are always so many preconceived notions about Black business that we have to get over, I feel like. Right. But there are Black businesses out there don't allow you to get over it.
Yeah. But you know what? So, but just as much as for the people who do support, they've been there the whole time. You know what I mean? The core crew of people that has supported me have always been there. But it's few and far between. I mean, now,
absolutely.
A lot of people now, I done got a name for myself, and I done a few things. Obviously, they didn't see me doing a lot of things, and obviously consistent. It's 11 years now. I'm just talking about the first, couple years in. It was like,
Yeah. So you find that you get more support now that you're successful than you did when you were starting up, which is kind of when we need the support. When we're just
yes.
It's easy to support you once you're already successful.
Right. Hey, and to be honest, I don't technically need the support now. I mean, if we're talking about money wise, hey, man, I got a little, in the beginning, I would hear a lot of, hey man, my company, we about to do some such and such, and I'm gonna have them hire you to cater. And so I used to think, okay, cool. Well, there's one of the books, in my mind. But I see him at church 2 weeks later, and they come looking away. Or I'm gonna have you do my such and such party. They come looking away. Like, bruh. Don't even say it.
They probably can't afford you now. They should have been supporting you in the beginning.
yeah. Back when prices were low. Prices went up.
A little bit.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Absolutely. And did you have any specific support to get you on the Food Network, or is it just something that you did on your own? You just tried and try again, and that's really what you needed, and really just the support of your family, immediate family, wife, kids.
Right. Yeah. The second option was where it is. It was just I didn't have a connect. I didn't have a hookup. I didn't know anybody. I just continued to look at you put yourself out there. Make a profile of somewhat. Get your get your nice photo, and sign in or log in to sign up for casting agencies. and they send you stuff, and you just kind of got to keep trying. You know, for anybody who's trying to get on most shows, regardless of what you look like now, if you're trying to do it, you can do it. I mean, that's not even necessarily a pep talk. You just got to go through, and you got to continue through, even because all the different times that you get told no, take that, learn from what you probably did wrong or right or whatever, ask for feedback, and then do it again. So like I said, it took me a couple years to get on there, to get on the show. And even the one that I was trying to get on, it didn't happen. So once I finally got there, yeah, obviously you got to, especially being married with kids, you need the support of your immediate family, because no casting is, for the most part, unless you live in LA or New York, most of the casting is in LA and New York or further away, for at least bigger roles, or in Atlanta or something along those lines. So you got to be okay with taking off, your wife or your spouse or your whoever that you're responsible for has to be okay with you leaving for a couple days to get that interview, and then try and then waste money on a hotel and all this other good stuff just for a chance to try to do something. And it doesn't work out, you might be out of a plane ticket and a hotel room and eating out for a day or two. But the saying is true: scared money don't make money.
Absolutely. The tighter you hang on to your money, the harder it is for more to get in there. That's how
right.
I feel about it.
Yep.
You
You
just
got your
hanging
hand
on
closed,
so
you can't get nothing in there.
Can't get nothing else in there. Just
right.
Let it flow. God's gonna take care of you. I mean, don't get crazy, but let it flow.
Right.
God will take care of you. That's awesome. So I want to really, really dig into the topic, but let me just take another break again. I just want to welcome everyone. We've had more people come into the room. I want to say thank you to S.E. Patton for your gifted sub. I want to say hello to Just Jen. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. DJ Mark, who is in the house? That little hating word. I wish you could see the chat. I have to make sure that in the future, when people come on, they actually log in to the Twitch account. Then you would be able to see the chat.
I got another screen.
You can see it. Yeah. Awesome. You're a smart guy. That's why you're on the
show. Is a hating word. That's real talk. You still got
your little business.
You still doing your little. Bruh.
Yes. What's up, Big Stove? Welcome to the room. And again, thank you so much for being here. I always want to thank you for being here on a Saturday. It's not always easy to just give up your day. So I appreciate your support for the Inequality Podcast, where we are the space between inequality. And today we've got Terry Matthews on, the BBQ Daddy. Hopefully you've seen him. I know the first time I saw you was on Barbecue Brawl, right? And I loved that particular season. It was such a great season. And honestly, the only reason why I watched it because you were on there. When I heard there you were from Arizona and you were on there, I'm like, oh, I'm supporting this guy right here. And then, maybe I can order your barbecue too. I know we were talking about you catering my birthday celebration this year, but I am postponing that. I have some medical challenges that I have to get through right now. And so that's kind of where I'm focused. But when I do circle back and bring that back, you're definitely going to be my caterer for that event. Okay. But if you're out there in the audience, you have a question for Terry, please just make sure you highlight it so I can get back to it, because I definitely want to involve the audience in this conversation today. All right. So now, with that being said, again, I don't know how specific we can really get into your experience on these shows, because as a viewer, as a fan, when I watch Chopped or when I watch anything, Guys Grocery Games, like I just always assume the black person is not going to win. Like at the end of the show is not going to be the last is not going to be black. Is that kind of been your experience in that arena?
So here's the thing. I'll tell you, first and foremost, these shows, these are TV shows, right? They're television shows, and all the competition shows, and basically if it's not scripted, it's reality. It's a reality show. But the thing is, even the reality shows are somewhat scripted because you see in what's best for at the end of the day, it's what's best for the brand. Who can represent the brand or the network the best, whether how they look, how they talk, how they represent themselves. And so there have been some black winners on the Food Network. I won on Cutthroat Kitchen, and in as far as the longer series and the people that go that want to represent, if you have an opportunity at the end of these shows to represent a network, then that decision is I'm pretty confident to say that decision is predetermined, regardless of what you do on the road to get to the end. So, I mean, you could be, whether it's what do you call Survivor, or if you got, a Food Network show or whatever it is, that, it's a TV show. It's a TV show, and we want to make sure that they want to make sure that it's represented in the light that they want it to.
That's such a nice way for you to say it. So I feel like you're still under contract with Food Network, so I'm not going to get any much worse than that from you. But the season that I did see you on, Barbecue Brawl, if we can talk about that season, I really felt like you should have won. Even though I didn't taste any of the food, I felt like you had the most respect from the judges, and your reviews were always good. So just going by what I saw, I felt like you should have won that year.
So I felt like I definitely thought I should have gone a lot further. And I'll tell you what, if you recognize, or if you look at those episodes of that episode, you really see that there was some somewhat animosity that went on between me and another young lady who happened to be a pretty young white girl from Georgia, and a pretty young Southern white girl who was, nice, but when you get that's a losing battle for me. That's a losing battle for Black men, as far as especially in on a network show. And so what I think I probably, even though 99.99% of me was completely kind of joking around, playing, just kind of making good for TV, what I found out within the series is that the young lady was taking it personal, and was even going and telling some of the producers that she felt threatened, or she felt, I'm like, oh, no, don't do that, because I already know what's coming up. I was kind of informed by one of the other teammates on there that, like, hey, all they talked about was you and such in my interview. I'm like, why would they talk about me and her? They're like, oh, well, because they wanted to get the juice. And I'm like, oh man, okay, well, let me cool out. So then I went into my last episode, kind of like, you know what? Let's make a thing. Let's just cool out a little bit. My energy changed a little bit. Also, if you ever get on one of these network shows, realize that your mic is hot 24/7. I didn't think about that. I forgot about that part. Even when you're at lunch and you go and have private conversations with your spouse or whoever, and you say, man, your mic is hot. You go to the bathroom, your mic is hot. Now, they can turn it off, or they can listen, or they may not be, but it's on unless you turn it off. So at any time. So then, you say something on the so I go and I'm saying, hey, I know I was telling my wife, I said, man, this is the best dish that I've made so far. Ain't no way that I'm leaving today. And if I leave today, it was predetermined. I said that verbatim. If it was my time to leave today in this episode, I was supposed to leave today because I was scheduled to be off for whatever reason. Because my dish was dope. It was. I mean, I made and so when I get ready to go up, another thing before I get there, I go and I'm on camera. Now we're live and I'm in the cut. I put my hand over my shirt and I'm doing this because my mic is literally right behind my logo, right? And I put my hand on my logo and I'm saying, hey, this is, you gotta chill, this is all for TV. You getting mad? Stop getting so mad. This is for TV. Relax. I'm saying this like on mic, and as soon as I say that, the cameras start coming in. Like, oh, let me hear what they're talking about, right? And so I'm talking like
I feel like I saw that moment.
4 different cameras zoom in on us. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. They can still even hear that. And then she responds, well, you're attacking me, and this is not good for people. And I'm like, oh, stop it, because you're killing me right now. Because you're saying these things that are daggers to me being for the overall look. Right now, whether it's they saying, oh, we got to pick sides. I'm not saying that the network decided to pick sides, but with the optics can look for the we have to make sure we cater to our viewers, right? So think about that network and who's watching that network. So let's make sure we cater towards the viewers because these are the ones who's paying our bills. And so kind of after that, we get to judging, and I'm like, whatever. I'm still a little bit green, or at least hopeful, so that, all right, we get to judging, man, my dish kicked ass. So the judges, they go to taste. They go to taste, and these fools not even looking me in the face no more. I'm like, one of the judges, I'm like, bruh.
Eddie. Yeah.
No, not Eddie. Not Eddie. He was a captain.
Oh,
okay. I'm trying not to throw too many names out there.
Okay, but don't worry about the names. Don't worry about the names.
I'm looking at the judge. I'm like, bruh, why are you looking down? I'm thinking this, right? Because I know, because you're a pulled pork guy. And this pork is on point. Like everybody tasted it on my team. I knew it was regardless of what they tasted. Everybody on the team tasted it. Even Bobby tasted it. And was like, hey, this is legit. Like, okay, bet, let's do it. And this is the same pork I make all the time. He's looking down. The other chef is looking down. The other judge is looking away. And like, oh yeah, well maybe you get. And they gave me some lame ass reasons about how it wasn't legit. And I'm like, oh man, okay, all right. I see. And in that moment, I knew, because in no way, not possible, because one, I tasted some of the other people's stuff. It was trash.
Right?
Yeah. And so I'm like, ain't no way. But you know what? But here's the thing. I've been black all my life. And so you get to a point. When I was younger, I used to get hot at that. I used to get like, my little saying, look, I don't care about none of this stuff. I'm a man first. They ain't gonna be disrespecting me. And these what a lot of these young hotheads get in trouble with, which I used to be one of them, right? And so unfortunately, you can't change being a brother at all, ever. And you can act, you can play the part. And if you don't play that part more than normal, then you better. You have to, or it's just not the industry. It's just not the way for you. Yeah. So there's some rules that we got to do.
Yeah, and it's that way, and I feel like it's that way in a lot of industries, and for a lot of us. My last job, I loved it. I loved my last job. I thought it would be my final place, right? That this is where I'm going to end. This is where I'm going to retire. I'm not going to work for anyone else, because when, I'm working towards working for myself, not working for other people, but I just love my job. But they hired someone on to be my supervisor that was a white girl from Indiana. And while we don't always want to put everyone in boxes, she was a white girl from Indiana, and she didn't like me. Number one, because I interviewed for the same job. I should have gotten that job, by the way. But she got the job over me. The CEO is Mormon. And so I did not get that job. And she made life hell for me every day I went to work. She even told me, Terry, one day because, people don't want to work with me. They're afraid to come and talk to me. I'm intimidating. And I'm like, me? Like little old me? I just come to work. I'm happy. I smile. I do my job. How can I possibly be intimidating? And after she said it to me so many times, I realized it was her issue. It was her issue and not mine. And she looked at me once, Terry, and told me that she doesn't see me as being Black. She didn't see me as Black. She only saw me as a good project manager. So she didn't see me for who I was. She only saw me for what I do, which I feel like we get that a lot on the job.
Yeah. It's a smoke screen. Like I said, at the end of the day, and you know what, I at the end of the day, when it's your business, you have to protect it. And so, whether it's a network or it's your own particular business, we got to do what's right. So, I mean, not what's right, but what's right for the money, right? Or what's right for the viewers, or what's right for the customer, and to make sure that it's a good product that went out. So, just kind of circling back to saying that I didn't, there was probably some moves that I could have made, because what happened, I think I took on the role of the young hothead in a different role, other than just playing it. I always say playing it safe, because you still got a reality TV, unless it's a drama-filled show. I had some, before I got on the show, there was some tweets that I sent like years ago, and even some reviews that I had online, and a couple things that I had to that needed to be taken down, because when you get on those type of networks, you got to make sure that you are G-rated, that nobody can go back and look and say, oh, whatever network, this guy said this about the president, and you let him on your show, or this guy said this about, so there's a fine line you got to play. And when I'm saying just with the network, that's also within your job. You gotta play within the rules. And a lot of times, especially in our culture, we might be a little bit louder. We might be a little bit, I didn't say louder, but we express ourselves, I feel like, more so than other cultures. And a lot of times that can be taken as intimidating. And in doing so, unfortunately, you got to, if you want to be in corporate or have anything else, and even be on TV as being corporate, you have to tone it down. And then it's like, well, there's two ways to look at that. I can look at that as like, okay, well, you just being racist. Or I can look at it, well, it's part of the game. So I don't know, which way you want to go. I take it as, okay, well, it's part of the game, because the group.
But it's racist. It's racist, and it's part of the game. It's like both of them. Because it wouldn't be part of the game if they weren't racist. We should be allowed to just be ourselves. If we're not out here, cussing at people, cussing people out at work, being dicks all the time, then I feel like we should just be allowed to be ourselves.
Yeah, without the write-ins of, okay, if you want to be the Black dude, make sure you say these things, like
yeah. So, which is why I just, as hard and as difficult as the road is gonna be, I feel like we just really have to switch our perspectives and support one another more. If we are the ones who are owning these spaces, owning these companies, corporations, and we understand our culture, then I feel like we would just be a little bit more understanding and forgiving, and we could just be ourselves, right?
Yeah, I like that, because if we had, let's say, there are some, they got like their own network, when they have these the soul food cook-offs, you can get on there, and a lot of times that I watched that series, and a friend of mine who I was on a previous show actually won, but you get on there and you can see Black folks kind of living and talking and being in their natural cultural, and this was on a Black network, and they allowed it. Some stuff that I may have said or done got cut out, but it's just, So because at the end of the day, you gotta cater towards your audience. But see, what happens is if we don't never allow that to happen, if we don't allow these different, regardless if you Black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, allow those things to be able to be normalized in that type of audience, they'll never know that it's not normal. And there's also another untapped market that you could also probably get into that will then start tuning in a little bit more just to see those different cultural aspects. There's a time even in the when they do, I don't know if it's called B-roll, but when you're behind, so I'm cooking, right? And I'm doing a thing. And then the camera pans off, or not pans, the camera kind of shows me like making other announcements or putting in my objective about what's going on. They give you like almost scripts and things to say, right? And
really,
yeah. And within those things, they're like, well, how do you feel about this? Well, can you say, they'll say something that sounds Black, right? Like if you watch CSI and the dude T-Bone is like, hey, you old sucker, what did you do to my friend? I should pop 2 caps in your butt right now. Some old, room full of not Black people writing Black script. And I get those, and I'm like, oh, I see where you're going, but I'm not saying that. I'll let me reword it in just Terry talk, but I'm not gonna say, man, it was so good to make you want to slap your mama.
I'm glad they give you that flexibility, because that's a little bit comforting to me that they at least give you the flexibility to edit their racism.
Well, maybe they did. Maybe they did because I didn't go to the next round. Maybe they gave me that flexibility, or maybe they didn't. They was like,
maybe they didn't. Yeah, and see, that I feel like that's just so interesting to me that, again, like, and I get this term from someone else. She's not in the room, but silence in racist situations. Like, people are just silent when you know that was racist. Like, and then you don't say anything and we just accept it. And then if we do say something, then that means that we are in trouble. We don't make the cut. We don't get to the next round. And I just feel like that's frustrating at any level. That has to be frustrating.
Yeah. And a lot of times, that's why, I love these different, the way that these platforms, like right now, the platforms that we're on right now, and the internet, and the different ways that Black people, all different types of cultures, can then express themselves and be able to have a media outlet to be able to express. Because in no way, I won't say no way, but for the most part, this channel is not getting shown before Twitch, before early Facebook, or even before any of those things. So the way I think my kids, and maybe my kids' kids, will then be able to, hopefully, just with the internet, more accepting of things. Some things, more accepting of people, and more accepting of different cultures, and more accepting of different genres, and all these other things, that we're heading in the right direction, I believe. At least, it's bumpy, but at least we're heading in the right direction to be able to have different outlets where folks can see that, okay, it's okay, Black people, African Americans, we may talk a little loud, we may trash talk a little bit, we may, just kind of, we may jab a little bit here and there, but it's okay. It's not aggressive. Like, yeah, I can walk down the street with my hoodie on because I'm cold.
Right.
And I'm not trying to rob you. I can, a lot of times I got this, what they call it, RBF or RNF, where I just kind of look a little bit, upset. I don't look upset. I'm just chilling, but it's my regular face. But then I can come off as the mean Black dude. So, I don't want to always do that all the time. But you go around a group of Black folks, they understand.
Yes. Yes. And that's that's it right there, right? We just have to have two personalities,
Right.
sometimes three. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm tired. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm tired of having to navigate through so many different ways of being. Like I just want to be myself. And it's so funny when you had mentioned something about they want us all to be the same. And this is a conversation that I feel like I've had on this show. Like that's the mentality of the melting pot. That's how they get you. Like when you put stuff in a pot and you melt it all together, it really just turns into that same goop, right? So you're putting it all in, but the melting pot is just a bunch of goop to me. But if we think of it as like a Cobb salad where you can have all of these different ingredients, but it's still an awesome salad. Like, can we be that instead? I don't want to just be like everybody else.
You know what? So I think so. At least it's at least and on the obviously the media controls what people think and people around, and to speak on it from the back end. I think a lot of times these folks that are in this media, mostly folks are creatives, right? That are behind the cameras. They're creatives and they have the open. I think now they have more of an open mind to be able to. They want to do these things enough, but the masses, the people who watch, are not there yet. And so, unfortunately, it's like, well, okay, can we take the risk of allowing you to be black? Not just Terry, but just whoever. Can we take the risk of allowing you to kind of just say and do and act whatever the way you want to act without being the stereotypical black dude? You're just a guy who's acting in his own culture. Just like if I was, a white guy from the South, or I was somebody from New Orleans who just talks and moves a little bit different. Those are all good things, but without being that, like, okay, I'm just as normal as the guy who's acting normal, or who you might think is acting normal. This is just a Cobb salad. Look, you're the lettuce, or you're the whatever. I'm the eggs, and we're all part of this thing. And so, I don't have to be the stereotypical funny black dude. I'm just a guy, and I don't have to be the spicy Latina. She's just a woman, or the
spicy Latina, right? Like
yeah,
Latinas
or
just
the
can't be
serious
normal. They got to
Asian
be
guy.
spicy.
Yeah, but this is what you see when you watch these reality shows. That's who they cast, and that's the way that they kind of almost want you to be. That's that, and then the Asian guy who's okay. I'm serious. I got my glasses on. I'm serious, and this is what I'm just saying that these are just the same people function through. So I think outlets like these here and being able to expose our culture, Black people's culture, and get folks more normalized that with that the way that we not act is not act. You don't have to even act like that. Do you? We can still be cool, but do you, and I'm gonna do me, and it's fine. And once we get that acceptance and be able to put that on national television, man, I think we'd have a lot more harmony just in fries at Walmart and just wherever,
Yeah, less Karens. I'm going to take a minute again and just to say welcome to everyone who's come in the room. I really appreciate you being here. Big Stove, I can't remember if I said hi to you, but hello. Big Stove is definitely one of my favorites. I love his mom. We went to the Ohio meetup together. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm wearing my Ohio meetup shirt. So a lot of us, Terry, we know each other. We call it in these Twitch streets, right? We are chatting all the time. This is a worldwide thing. So we know people from all over. But the Ohio meetup was the time that we got to actually meet people in person. So it was more than just their name. We were in person. Oh, we got some Ohio people in the house, man. They are not going to appreciate that, Michigan.
That's all right. That's all right. Just take a look, right.
Well,
Just send
listen,
me,
I
right?
am a Desmond Howard fan, so there's
Okay.
always been a little piece of me with
Yeah.
Michigan, tongue in cheek. But yeah, it was. Oh my goodness, you are. Oh Lord, you're starting some
Yeah.
mess
I'm just
now.
taking a drink. I'm just taking
Just
a little
take.
sip.
That's awesome. We'll have to have you back on where we're just having conversations about sports. I had Larry Fitzgerald's dad on last week. We were talking about the new NIL rules in college football and what that's going to mean for collegiate sports. But that was last week. Anyways, again, welcome in everyone. I see DJ Vader Mix is in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going back looking for any questions. I don't see any. I see no questions, but if you are a DJ or a streamer and you're in here right now, I know the mods are doing a really good job just kind of shouting you out, but please put your information in the chat. When you're on, can catch you doing what you do. And yes, Sweet Jamaica, welcome back, Sweet Jamaica. I can't do it like Vader did today during Pine Soul, but just think back to what he did, and I'm doing it here for you today. All right, so I feel like I'm keeping you on for a long time, and we've really talked about this, but let me just see if I can bring anything else out of you with this question. So, when we talk about racism and inequality, how has that affected you personally? How specific can we get about that? And just even outside of Food Network and everything that's happened there, but just on your journey, how do you feel like you've experienced those situations in real time on your journey
Yeah.
to
So
becoming barbecue daddy?
so in so I mean, I can obviously give you all the same stories that most black men can get about getting pulled over and all that. But professionally, so here's the thing. The vast majority of my clientele are white. It's just how it is, right? And so what I found, and I used to take offense, I used to get my little feelings hurt at the beginning, and then I kind of got offended, and I just kind of realized what it was, is that a lot of times I get a call and I would talk to a bride, groom, whoever it is to work their corporate event, and over the phone we're great. They obviously they see my brand, they know I'm black, but then as soon as I get to the event, I turn into the help, and it's not with the conversations are not the same. The hey Terry is not the same. It's you're around your folks, and then they get around their crew, and then you hear little remarks, right? When I'm actually at the event, and outside of once the conversation strays away from barbecue, then you feel it. I can see it, and so a lot of times I just to be able to stay, to continue to not let let my feelings show, but without getting offended, I almost have to walk away or give like a quick nod or like, I mean, if that's how you feel, I guess so. And it's really apparent, like, especially when you think that you cool with, a white guy who hires you to do his event. And then once now we're here, it's like I'm just a sideshow. And it kind of, I felt like the same way like Dave Chappelle felt when, like, okay, you're not laughing with me, you're laughing at me. And I'm not, and I won't never be the project or the person. Look what I did. Look who I hired. I hired the black dude to come and do our barbecue. Now you guys all go over there and prod, that's not cool, not the thing. And you all the time, bro. We've been chopping it up over the phone all this time or emailing back and forth. And so, that a lot of times, and then you hear the conversations, like I said, at the events. I mean, like I said, I can give you, obviously I've gotten pulled over, you get profiled, you get followed around the store, all of those things. You've heard all of those. And I live that life still, regardless of how much money or fame or whatever that I end up getting. You still get the folks that continue to see a black dude. And if I'm just walking, like I said, with a hoodie on, with a hat on, or just kind of not paying, I'm not smiling, I like you mentioned earlier, I don't like having to present 2 different or 3 different personalities. I can't always be the happy black dude. I can't always be the
Yeah.
smiley black dude, whether I'm working or at an event or at a gig or at the grocery store. And so you almost got to learn to, especially being on the West Coast or being on this side of the Mississippi, you got to learn to navigate. If you still want to make money, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you can't talk the way you want to talk. You can't be the way you want to. Not around everybody, you know. And so I still feel those things. Fortunately for me, fortunately for BBQ Daddy, you know, white folks think that black people can cook, and they can do barbecue, you know. So it gives I get somewhat of an advantage with that. I'm like, oh, brother, you know, okay, cool. I got a brother over here. But then the second round of conversations, the introductory to the friends and family, that doesn't happen. I've been talking to you for 6 months and we've been planning your wedding together. Now I'm here and now you don't even look over towards me because I'm now, you know, and like I said, it almost sounds petty, but then like imagine you having a conversation with you at work with somebody. You're cool with somebody at work, right? That you work with every day. They work across from you having conversations, but then when you see them in the mall and they're with their family, they're like, oh, hey, Swana. And they just walk right by you. Like, what? But now that happens
all the time.
Most of it, when that happens so often, because obviously my coworkers basically are different people at all times. And then you think, well, maybe that's just that if you're at work and you see the same person, maybe that's just them being weird. But once you've experienced that 150 times, you know, it's like, all right, well.
That's how they get us, though. That's how they get us in every situation. They get us banging our head against the wall. Keep banging against the wall, right? And then after so many times, you just stop trying. Like that is how oppression has happened in this country with Black people. They make sure they put their knee on our necks, so that the next time we think about doing that same thing, we think about the knee on our necks, right? Instead of thinking about getting past that. And that's how oppression has been in everything. And even as I listen to you now, it's like we should just be allowed to be who we are. We are colorful. Like Black folks, we got flavor. And that's just all it is. It's just we're different than you, but it doesn't make it bad. And so it ticks me off. It really ticks me off. Anyways.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen all the time, but I'll tell you what, it's probably, and here's the thing. A lot of times folks won't say it, or the white folks who hired me won't say it, you know, but not all of them. But then, you know, you realize after so long, it probably happens most of the time. You know, it happens most of the time. And now, because of that, you realize that, okay, well, that's small, but that's still a knee in my neck, right? And so then I realized to say, well, then, okay, well, unfortunately, the next set of people, then I ended up, what happened, I stopped coming to events. Like, okay, well, unless you spending $6-7 grand, BBQ Daddy ain't gonna be there. And not because of that, but it's like, man, I'm not the help.
Why subject yourself to that? You don't have to.
Right. You know, I feel like what's Dr. Dre? I started this gangster-ish, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. We've been told like, how is this a thing? Why are you being, you know what? So other than me getting there and getting all weird and be like, you know what? Hey, congratulations. Da, da, da. Well, we'll see. Have a nice day, you know? And yeah, I'm not gonna be there to be the BBQ Daddy pet.
Yes. And I just want you to know that you started all kind of trouble from my Ohio people. They are representing strong in this chat right now. Welcome in, Kelly Vision. It's so good to see you. And then I think I missed one of my super duper mods that's in the chat. Just Jen, welcome in, girl. Welcome in. I hope you guys are really enjoying the conversation. We are I've taken up so much of your time, but I feel like we've talked about a lot of good things. And again, this being the Inequality podcast, where we just want to be that space between inequality, we also want to move past just having the conversation, but really giving people some substantive things that they can do. So I want to talk about that. But before we do you mind if I just really quick let everyone know what we can expect on our show next week?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. All right. So just real quick, you guys, this is not going to take very long. Next week, we're going to talk with Connie Phillips, who I don't know if where you are, you have heard of Lutheran Social Services. But through my old position, my old job, I got a chance to really work closely with Lutheran Social Services. And I know, Lutherans, religion, it elicits things within us, but this particular company or organization really is doing good things. So the title of the show next week is All You Have to Do Is Ask. I feel like we are so prideful at times that we don't understand that we just have to ask for help. And Connie Phillips, she's the CEO of Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. She spent her career working in the field of social profit organizations. She has her master's degree in social work with a concentration in administration from Arizona State University. So she is local here. And over the years, she's held leadership positions in the fields of developmental disabilities, mental health, child welfare, homelessness, domestic violence, senior services. She's just done a lot in the realm of social services. So I wanted to have her on here so we can just talk about the things that we can ask for because we should not be afraid to just ask for help when we need it. Even as we talk about this conversation today, I feel like, Terry, a lot of us need to have some therapy, like a regular way to let some of this stuff off. Because just the daggers, like you throw daggers, you're hitting your head against the wall, and all that kind of affects our souls and our spirits. So this is a personal question. What do you think about therapy and getting therapy?
You know what? You asking me like in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
in general,
I think
just as a person who needs to work through issues in their lives, like understanding that we need help sometimes from a professional.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we definitely, especially Black folks, really need to look at that, to consider, should do it, should invest in yourself, because that is the definition of the mental health. A lot of times, because what happens is we have friends that we say, well, I can just talk to my friends about it, but your friends are people who think like you for the most part, and a lot of times we want to go and talk about, we don't want to be told we're wrong or whatever. So you go and you choose the conversations that you have. You choose the friends you want to have the conversations with. And a lot of times they're not going to give you a real objective view. I know going to therapy helped myself in my marriage. After my mother passed, I hadn't gone yet, but I would definitely need to. And the reason why is because, there's some things that mentally that we don't know how to fix. You don't need to only just go to a brain surgeon to correct your brain. You got to go to a therapist to also still correct your brain, the way you think and the way you process things. I mean, like real life situation, my mom passed, and for the first 3 years, I could not, my brain, because I associated so much with trauma, I could not see my mother off of her deathbed. And then my next memory was 8th grade. And so that's 20, 30 years of gone that I couldn't do and bring back on my own. I mean, she lived in houses and different holidays and different things that I could not even remember. And without therapy, I have a friend that was able to help me through, who's a therapist, who was able to help me through some things. And to be honest with you, I still need to go. But those are the types of things, I mean, that's on an extreme level. But those are the type of things that we suppress things, and then they show up in our behavior later on in life, and and then a lot of times we just give the excuse, well, that's just the way I am. Well, why though? And then you don't even know why.
Yes. Why? Why is that?
Yeah. Why are you that way? You don't have to be. You don't have to be mad all the time. You don't have to not like this. And so unless we invest in ourselves and invest in our lives, invest in our marriage, invest in whatever relationships we got, a lot of times therapy is the way to go. And then with Black folks, first thing a lot of times we want to say, well, that's why I got God. I'll pray. But guess what? God put therapists here for a reason. Just like he put, podiatrists and dentists,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely agree and promote and think that people should, I won't even say even if you give it a shot, even if folks try it one time and you realize how refreshing it is to be able to talk to a neutral party, to be able to give you neutral responses, educated responses that can help you just navigate. Even if you want, whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to get ahead at something and for whatever reason you can't, there's something up here that's blocking it. There's something up here. Oh, I got a friend who's also wanted to join us. So Lord have mercy. There's something up here that's blocking our progress. And if you don't remove it here, you keep banging your head against the wall and realize, well, how come I'm not winning? How come something ain't working? Well, it's you, bro, miss. So yes, if you want to choose a Black therapist, fine. You want to choose a Christian therapist, fine, but choose one and then just give it a shot.
Yeah, let it out. Let it out. You gotta let it go. My therapist told me, she's like, your problem is that you don't know how to let stuff go. And you hanging on to things is your visual. We can see it just by looking at you, right? When I was 200, almost 270 pounds, that's me holding on to stuff and not letting it go. Right. And so letting go is really important. So I appreciate that. That's not like a typical question that I ask, but I do have some rapid fire questions that I do want to end our time with, because I feel like I've taken a lot of your time today. Thank you very much. And I didn't want to say hello to Crazy Berrytown who walked in the room, and DJ Relly Rel. Hey, another Ohio meetup family. So hi, welcome in. So now I've got 5 questions for you, sir. And they are going to be a little challenging. So here you go. Are you ready? All right. Yep. So what would you be doing if you weren't a chef?
I'll be selling something somewhere, making a lot of money selling a product. I mean, or whatever it is. I would find, if I wasn't a chef, I'd be selling something. And it would be whether it was my own business or a branch of a different type of business, real estate, something along those lines where I can sell, make good money, and make my own schedule.
Yeah, real estate's a good way to go. People are always going to need houses. There's ups and downs for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness, what am I doing here? All right, next question. Thank you. If money was no object for you, what's the one thing you would do?
Like no object? Like
no,
I have like
money is
$1 billion.
Not an object.
Okay, cool.
However much it costs, you can do it.
I would buy a section of land. Like I would buy a small city, right? I would buy a small city and then recreate Black Wall Street. Yeah.
Man after my own heart. That is my vision. Like this year, I've really been asking God to show me what my purpose and my vision is. I love doing this podcast. I love doing film productions. So I'm working on a documentary. And as I said, I'm a realtor. So is my dad and my daughter. So we have 3 generations of realtors. And so that's like my purpose, is to plant the seed to change our ghettos back to Black Wall Street. Like that is my purpose in life right now, Terry. Nice. So
okay.
You made my heart beat right there, because I'm gonna be calling on you in a few years when I get to make that a reality.
There you go.
I love that. And I always love and appreciate when people, when I ask that question, their answer is in service and not, oh, I would take a cruise around the world or buy my own island. I love that. So I appreciate that. All right, next question. What are you most grateful for right now?
Um, my all of my family, but especially my household, my immediate family, because that's why I do what I do. You know, I've been, like I said, coming up 19 years of marriage. I got 4 beautiful children, and they've always supported um, my goals, even if they were wrong or even when I mess up. You know, I never got flack, and I never got the loud, I never got anything negative necessarily from anyone, from my kids, from my wife. And so I believe that support system is what gives me the freedom to be able to progress. You know, so I be appreciative of that nucleus that helps a lot of things spring from that.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, next question. If today were your last day, what would you be doing? What would you do with it if today was your last day?
Do I have the same money I have right now, or that was like, or do I get?
Absolutely.
Okay. Man, today is my last day. Well, I would go back to that thing that I was most precious for. My son is in the Marines, so I would take my family down to Carlsbad, down to San Diego, have him come out for the day, and we would just probably kick it and grill on the beach, and at night, and then stay there as long as possible till we got too cold, and then Monopoly until I fell over on the table. Yeah,
That sounds like a really nice last day.
yeah.
All right. So the last of my rapid fire questions is, do you think that America can still reach its full potential?
I don't think so in my lifetime. Um, I mean, to have to circle back to the very first thing that I was talking about as far as staying positive. So I have to believe that it will one day. I don't know if I don't believe we'll see it, and maybe not even my kids will see it. And if I'm looking at what the full potential means, that is full inclusive of everybody's just pretty much what we've been talking about this whole show. It's everybody you do just everybody's accepted, and we just kind of live. Obviously, I'm not talking about harmony because that'll never happen. I'm not talking about everybody have the same thoughts and processes. Where obviously different religions will go back and forth, and people are going to get mad at each other. Fine, but um, I'd like to be able for my grandkids to walk anywhere they want to walk with a hoodie on without getting in trouble. I like for my grandkids to tell their kids. I would love for my grandkids not to have the conversation with their sons, with their black sons. You know what I mean? That would be, and unless you're Hispanic or black, you may not even understand what that conversation is. And it's the, you know, so yeah. So staying positive and staying hopeful in a couple generations. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that too. And seeing, because I'm already a grandmother, I hope that my grandkids will see that in their
Yeah.
lifetime. I am committed to planting the seeds and cultivating them as much as I can. And then hopefully generations after us will continue to cultivate those seeds, because ghettos to Black Wall Street, man, that's where we got to go. I want, and no knock on anyone's beliefs, your religion, your faith, but I don't want to wait till I'm dead to live in heaven. I
Right.
want
Right.
heaven on earth right now. I want heaven on earth now. And I want the same thing for everyone that looks like me that wants it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to
All
be able to see one day when I don't, like I said, I don't know if I see it, but the Congress looks like a typical public school. Now, obviously, there's more white people here. There's more Mexicans. There's more, whatever. But I'm saying that it's not just 98% white. Obviously, the white people are still here for the most part. I mean, they're the majority of the race or whatever. But, have it look like the same culture that looks inside of Walmart. That would be great. And not even just to have different skin tones in there, but in different ideologies, different cultures, and different ways that we think. That way it can then trickle down throughout the Black culture, throughout the Hispanic, Asian American, Indians, all of the different cultures that we all are all represented equally. So
absolutely.
Love to see that from my grandkids.
Yeah. And that was a really good way to end the conversation. But I do want to say, because I do ask, is there anything that you want to end with? Any advice to audience members about, maybe they want to be a chef, or maybe they have kids who want to be a chef, or maybe they don't know anybody that wants to be a chef, but can maybe point them in the direction of doing what you do? Do you have any last words or advice?
Yep, here's a couple things. Now I'll go quick. Understand where you are in your surroundings at all times. Know that you don't have to necessarily put on white face or whitewash to just still continue to be you, right? We may have to change our what up, cuz, to how you doing today, but practice that normally. You know what I mean? And it's okay to just say good afternoon, other than what up, bruh. Say what up, bruh, to your friends and family. And it's okay to not always do that. If you want to be a chef, you want to get on TV, if you want to get on any network, you want to do start your own business, something along those lines, you just cannot stop. You cannot stop. And not only cannot stop, work your job, work your whatever you have going on. Don't be stupid. You know what I mean? Especially if you have people who depend on you. Stay responsible, but just don't stop. Sometimes you might have to, sacrifice a little bit of sleep. Research, do it, find a way, regardless of your personality. You don't got to be all, BBQ Daddy and smiley and all this other good stuff. Regardless of what you look like, how you feel, if you got a passion, whether it's to cook, whether it's to whatever, find a conference where people who are doing what you're doing, because you won't be able to find a lot of entrepreneurs who are in your same field. They're not around. They don't work together. But if you find a conference, whether it's in Vegas, whether it's in your city, then you get around other entrepreneurs who want to be a DJ, a chef, in a wedding industry, an event industry, or something along those lines. And then you can learn from people who are 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of you. Get your profiles together, have your food or whatever it is, and then have people write reviews for you, because that's how customers shop. So those are continue to learn, cater towards your customer, and just understand who you are inside and be proud of it. And it's okay. Be real with yourself, but then also, know where we are also in the United States. And if you want to make money, you don't have to be fake, but just be normal-ish.
Let's be like, be Oprah-like.
Right. You gotta be the guy who doesn't go to jail when you get pulled over. That's the guy you gotta be. That's the girl you gotta be.
Absolutely. Right. And I know I said I was gonna let you go, but there is someone on YouTube who's watching who has a question. So we're gonna end it with this question. They want you to rank St. Louis barbecue.
Okay, here we go. So the very best brisket I've had consistently in Austin, Texas. And they kind of do everything right for the most part. I've been to St. Louis. I've been all throughout the Bible Belt. I've been across the country. St. Louis barbecue, and from what I've heard from other people, from what I've tasted, I would probably put it, man, you're gonna like it, but I'm gonna put it probably third. And it would have to be, and then you know what? It would have to be after Texas, just because they've been the most consistent I've been to North and South Carolina, and I'm gonna put them both also. I'm sorry, I'm in Tennessee, Memphis. Hold on,
Okay.
And so I am gonna put them next, and then St. Louis, I gotta give that good bronze medal to.
All right, Texas, Memphis, St. Louis. All right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we were specific about Memphis, specific about St. Louis, but Texas is just the whole damn state.
Not the whole damn state. I'll just go Austin. Let's do that.
Okay.
So Austin, Memphis, St. Louis. Austin particularly.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because, again, the most consistent. I probably, when I shot barbecue, bro, I was there for 2.5 weeks. And I ate barbecue probably 10 times at 10 different restaurants. And 9.5 of them were on point.
That's good to know. Austin's on my bucket list.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Terry, BBQ Daddy, for joining me today. This was an awesome conversation. I really appreciate you. And I'm going to invite you to come back, next year. We'll just have, a conversation between friends, because now I think we're friends. Like, we've met in person now. We've had this long conversation. I'm going to consider you my friend.
You got it. Oh, you know what? Once we right at the end of November, once Michigan spanked that ass again, then we can have another conversation about whatever you want to talk about.
All right, we'll have lots of conversations, but I mean, for the record, I'm pretty much booked through the 2022. No, I got you. It's gonna be next year after football's over. It'll be after the bowl games and everything by the time we get back on here.
Whoever you tune in on that after, I'm gonna just be in there. I'm gonna make a lot of noise in the comment section.
All right. So let me let you get out of here. Go enjoy your day. I know you're busy, like opening your new San Diego spot, and we really didn't get into any of that. I wanted you to talk about your spices and all that, but I feel like I've kept you long enough, so I'm gonna let you go. We'll bring you back and we'll talk about that.
Find online. Here we go. Where are we at?
Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. Show that again.
BBQ Daddy. This is a hot one. Y'all visit thebbqdaddy.com. This is right now. I had it on Walmart. I pulled it off. It was taking too much money from me. But the BBQDaddy.com. If we can't reach you and cater to you, and you want some good barbecue, right now this cheat code, where we at? BBQ Daddy's cheat code will elevate whatever food that you got. Whatever food you got, support Black business. BBQ Daddy cheat code. We got a hot one, and we got a regular one. It's the all-purpose spice that you put on everything, even your cereal, your watermelon, whatever you want to do. TheBBQDaddy.com.
You can put that on your watermelon? What?
Oh, yeah. All
right. Sounds like it's something we need to have in our cabinets.
And obviously your meats and all of the other good stuff too. So
absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Terry. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your family. I really appreciate you.
You got it. Thank you.
Soon. All right. Bye. All right, y'all. Now, I started this show talking about buy from a Black woman. And I just want to show that real quick because this is Black Business Month. Every week, I'm going to highlight a different Black business. And this is the one I wanted to talk about today. I had not even heard about it until their ambassador is Tracy Ellis Ross. And I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I use her products in my hair. I don't know what you use, but it is definitely a great product. So if you go to buyfromablackwoman.org, you will see all of the wonderful information. I want you to go there. The links have been generating in the chat all day during this whole conversation. So make sure that you go join the mission. I get emails about what the Black women are doing. You can meet these Black women who are out here doing absolutely wonderful things. You can find out how they support Black women through education, empowerment, and inspiring them to just step out and take bold action. Like if you have a dream, if there's something you want to do, big action is what you need for big results, right? So there's an online directory here. I've had a really good time going through here, looking at the videos. They have not only the upcoming events, but there is a TV, kind of like their YouTube channel. Of course, everybody has a YouTube channel these days. Excuse me, but they have a lot of interesting things on there as well. So I just wanted to make sure that I did proper highlighting of that business because they're doing great things. They kicked off their Inspire tour at the Essence Festival this year. And it looked like it was a really good time. I don't know how many of y'all out there have been to Essence Fest. I have not been there yet, but it's definitely on my bucket list. So when we do our OMU reunion, maybe we can have somewhere in there at Essence Fest, we can just meet down there and have a good time. For those of you who haven't gone or who have gone, that can show us a good time. All right, so I want to just say thank you. I'm going to give you a little bit of your day back. Again, I always appreciate the fact that you come in on your Saturday and you really help support this podcast. I didn't ask you to host, but of course, whenever you're on, if you can host, that'd be great. Engage, that would be great. But tell people, like if you know other civic-minded people who really want to see change in the Black community, send them here so we can start having conversations with a lot of different people. And if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. If you're on Twitter, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. We've all experienced racism in the workplace. Every little thing that happens to us leaves a mark. No matter how strong we are, no matter how deep our faith is rooted, we are affected mentally, eventually physically, and yes, even spiritually, if we continue to take the hits. And I can almost guarantee that if you're Black, you're making less money than your white coworker who does the same job that you do. If you're a Black woman, you're probably behind everyone, right? So I feel like I appreciate the conversation with BBQ Daddy because it's, I think, makes it even more real when we notice and can understand that racism affects us no matter how high up we get in this country. We are all really still Black. And so being able to have better spaces, more welcoming spaces for Black people, owning more Black businesses that are hiring Black people, I think is just a really important thing for us to do. So again, thank you. DJ Vader Mix, Kelly Vision, Sweet Jamaica, Big Stove, Rush in the Flesh, Sea Love, who was lurking and working. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys so much. Seven Diva Rose. Hey, I didn't even see you come in the room. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I just want to make sure that I don't forget anybody because I'm always so deep into the conversation with the guests that being able to stop and engage the audience has been a challenge for me. I hope I did it a little bit better today, and I'm going to do even better next week. So I, again, appreciate you. I appreciate your patience. Just Jen was in the house. Relly Rel was in the house. And I know I'm forgetting people, but thank you so much. So I'm going to figure out where we're going. If you can put that raid message, and then I keep looking up at the screen and I'm freezing, but my computer is telling me that we're doing an absolute bang up job here. So I don't know what's going on. I hope we've had I hope it hasn't been as bad as it looks like it's been. All right, so let's go to Light Eyes. We're going to raid out to Light Eyes today, another talk show podcaster. Let's get on over to Light Eyes. So we're going to get that raid message in there. Thank you to my wonderful mods. I appreciate you. All right. So as soon as that raid message pops up, just copy it. And then we're gonna go ahead and go out to Light Eyes, who's got Nuff Said and Cool Kurt on her show right now. All right, y'all. I don't see it yet. Sweet Jamaica, can you get me the raid message? Virgo 919. Hey girl. Hey, thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. And remember, like I said, you can't all be here live. I totally understand that, but it's on demand. You can always go back and listen. It was an awesome conversation today with BBQ Daddy. And so I hope we all got an opportunity to learn a little bit more about him and even more about ourselves. So, all right. I still don't see the raid message, but I'm going to go ahead and click raid because I want to support Light Eyes in her stream. So here we go. You don't need the raid message. Just type it in and say, I just came from inequality. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, there's a raid. There's a message. Go ahead and copy it real quick. I'm going to go ahead and push this button now. Kelly Vision. Yes, we're all ready. Wednesday, in case you didn't know, Ohio Meetup 2023 is in the works. And I think Wednesday, we're going to get the opportunity to know exactly what and when that's going to happen. So I'm so excited. And I think it's going to be on Vader's, DJ Vader Mix is going to be on his stream. So if you're not following him, make sure you follow him. And we'll see you on Wednesday if I don't see you before then. All right, y'all. Here we go. Did we make it? Did we make it? Ready to raid. We're ready to raid. All right, y'all. We're getting out of here for real this time. Thank you again. Facebook, Twitter. I appreciate you. I'm going to figure out how to get all of this integrated into one stream so we can all chat together. Thank you.